Ever since I started making videos about minimalism, I've mentioned that whenever I buy something new, it needs to check off a few boxes and serve a few purposes like helping me with work or something creative. Well, my iPad mini does just this for me. This definitely isn't going to be me trying to sell one to you, but more of just how I have mine set up and how it benefits me for entertainment and work. I do virtually all my writing for my videos here, respond to emails, and just indulge in content on this. And it's going to be boringly easy to make the argument that our phones can do this for us, so please spare me the comments. As always, I'm just explaining my own personal setup and my reasons behind it. This is my current iPad mini setup. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and please scissor kick the subscribe button. Let's get started. I'm going to start by going a little bit over the iPad itself, like its specs, the way I have it set up, and some of my favorite uses for it. Starting with the iPad itself, this is the iPad mini 6, 256GB, Wi-Fi, and Starlight. I went with the mini over other iPad models for one main obvious reason: its size. For how I utilize this thing, the mini just made the most sense. It fits perfectly in my sling bag, pretty well in my hands, and it's just great for some other uses that I'll talk about in a little bit. I decided to go with the higher end storage of 256GB because unfortunately the only other storage option is the 64GB. I often temporarily keep some footage from my camera on my iPad, and when I'm shooting RAW in 4K, 64GB just doesn't cut it. And I chose to go with Starlight because for as long as I remember, I've always went with space gray or some variation of gray when dealing with Apple products. Next, I'll talk a little bit about the accessories. Now, there's a ton of accessories to choose from out there, Apple first party and third party. Right now, I'm just using Apple's black Smart Folio case and the Pencil 2. The Smart Folio case, if you're unfamiliar, serves as a case and a stand. It's minimal and gets the job done. It's not the greatest protection in the world, but I'm a little more careful with this than most of my other belongings. And there definitely isn't a wide selection of aesthetically pleasing cases out there just yet, so for now, I'll be sticking with the Smart Folio case. The Pencil 2 charges wirelessly on the side of the iPad. I've used it for writing videos sometimes, but it's mainly for drawing up little animations that I like using in my videos, or if I'm making my thumbnails, or if I just need some time to unwind and relax. Moving into the contents of my iPad itself, we'll start with the home screen. I have this Starfield Galaxy looking wallpaper for two main reasons. One, I love space, and two, it never really looks out of place whether I'm using my iPad in landscape or portrait mode. For the most part, I keep custom widgets on my home screen, the ones that I at least use daily. Apple TV, weather, notes, Spotify, and a couple folders with some of my other apps. For Apple TV and pretty much any other video watching app for that matter, works perfectly with the Smart Folio case. It just works as a nice stand to keep on my desk or if I'm in my bed. Whether from when I'm making plans to do something outside, and notes for writing videos, or if I'm just writing down something that I need to remember. And Spotify for music, of course. The apps in the folders that I have next to my widgets are organized into media or finance-related apps. I won't go too much into my finance-related apps because I want to dive into that in a later video, but they're mostly for my banking, investing, and crypto. And in my other folder are just my media and creative apps for now. I just have Shortform, Procreate, and YouTube Studio. On the bottom dock of my home screen are just the things that I want to have quick access to or that I just access frequently. So for now, it's just Safari, my emails, and settings, as well as a button that just shows me all of my apps that aren't on my home screen. Now diving a little bit more in depth with the actual apps themselves, I'm only going to cover the ones that I actually use, not the first party pre-installed ones that I can't delete or that I just don't use, for now. The first one is Shortform. I talked about this app a while ago, but it's basically an app that I use when I just want to unwind and relax and I want to read something quick. My iPad isn't a complete substitute for physical books, but when I don't feel like reading an entire book or making a trip to the library, or the library doesn't have something that I want to read, I'll make use of short form. The form factor of the iPad mini kind of feels like a Kindle, or it's just the same size of a paperback book, so it just feels natural. Next is Procreate. Like I said, the most use I get out of Procreate is drawing up these little animations that I use in my videos, but it's also one of the best ways for me to just relax. Putting on my headphones, listening to music, and just messing around on here really just is great zen time. If you're even a little bit into drawing or just art in any capacity, it truly is one of the most fun apps I've ever used. YouTube. I mean, it's YouTube. What else can I say? The YouTube app and YouTube Studio are great for watching content and reading all of your lovely comments, of course. Oftentimes, if I'm cleaning or just organizing something or doing some chores, I'll put YouTube on in the background on my iPad or just have a lo-fi playlist going just to set the tone. Next are the games. I'll just bunch up the few games that I've been playing lately on my iPad. I currently have Idle Siege, Outlanders, Kingdom Rush, and Mini Motorways. Kingdom Rush is definitely getting played the most right now. I think from gaming on the iPad to reading really just shows the wide range of how useful it actually is. And a lot of these uses just feel right on a device this size for one reason or another. So go ahead and cue the comments once again about how our phones can do all of this. And that pretty much covers everything I have going on my iPad right now. I actually have about a dozen uses for this that I could go over, but I'm gonna make a separate video dedicated to just all my uses for my iPad. But it's still fairly new in my ownership, so I want to give it a few more months in my possession. Anyways, I hope you got something out of this video. I really do enjoy making tech content, so expect more of this moving forward. As always, I appreciate the time you spent here, and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video, and you do like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.